Hey, what's up guys and gals? Hooksy with a quick video for you. Hey, it's 06:45 in the morning. Just got off work and I'm feeling led to give you guys another resilience tool, for your toolbox. It's something that the Air Force taught me, and this whole thing I want to talk about real quickly is something called spiritual resilience. What's awesome, the way the Air Force defines it is everybody has spirituality. It could be a traditional faith system. It could be no faith system. It could be everything in between. Everybody has spirituality, and it could be really be seen in this definition again. It comes back to that. It comes back to your sense of well-being. Being cool with who you are. And the other side of it, your sense of purpose. Take both these things, combine them together. That is your spiritual resilience, and if we are mindful of that, that can be an incredible tool to help us when we're going through tough times, to give us that capability to bounce back. Again, another tool for your toolbox. I love Norman Schwarzkopf's response to this one question, because his response shows you some person's definition of what spiritual resilience is to them. Somebody asked him, when you leave this earth, when you die, pass on, what do you want to be remembered as? Again, at his core, he says, I want to be remembered as a good soldier. He was an Army general. I want to be remembered as a good soldier that loved his family and served his country. Man, that is so deep. I mean, one little sentence, but that is really deep. That is a definition of spiritual resilience. A sense of well-being, a sense of purpose, what you're about. Okay, the whole goal of this thing is kind of strengthen that up for you. By taking a look at your own definition of spiritual resilience, you'll be able to strengthen that up. So when you may encounter rough times, you'll have that solid and you'll be able to weather them a lot better than if you didn't have this tool in your toolbox. Again, just another tool for you. Okay, how we go about developing our spiritual resilience, how we go about checking it to make sure it's strong and it's mature, it's going to help us weather the storm. You want to be thinking about it ahead of time, because if you're in the middle of the storm and you start trying to find your definition, it's going to be a lot harder. The tool is not going to be as useful for you. So figure your stuff out right now while things are good. Okay, first off, take a look at your definition of spiritual resilience. Take a look at your definition of spirituality, what that means to you. It's going to mean many different things to many different people, but figure out what it means to you. Make sure it's personal to you. Some questions you could ask yourself is your definition of spiritual resilience, what that means to you. What spiritual beliefs are important to you? And last but not least, how did you come by those beliefs? So really take some time to think about that, your definition. Okay, and the next thing we want to talk about real quickly is a concept called the board of directors. When you encounter a tough time, it's going to be helpful if you have role models in your head that you think, okay, how would they handle this situation if they got into it? I mean, these role models are most likely, well, your role models can be positive examples, people you want to be like, and your role models also could be negative examples, people you don't want to be like. So for an example of a positive role model, you would figure out somebody that matches your idea of spirituality, what your whole view of spiritual resilience, and you say, how would they handle this situation? For example, somebody might be coming from one of the traditional faith systems, Christianity. One of the role models might be Christ. Figure out how would Christ handle this situation, and then they would do likewise, follow the role model. Another example for me, family is real big on my idea of spirituality, loving and supporting my family. So one of my role models is a fictional character. It's Bill Huxtable from The Cosby Show. And I like how he pressed and handled himself as a father. So I might say, how would Cliff Huxtable handle this situation with the family? So again, that's the board of directors. And a negative example might be, maybe you come from a rough family where your father was not really there for you. He may be on your board of directors, but he may serve as an example of how you don't want to handle situations. So that's what the board of directors is. Make sure you know what yours are. And you, as the CEO of your life, you have the capability to hire people on your board, and you have the capability to fire them. Say, I don't want them on my board anymore. It's all dependent on what your spiritual beliefs are. Okay, next thing, you want to think about a spiritual reminder. Spiritual reminders. Spiritual reminders, make sure it's something personal to you. Make sure it's something that will help to jog your memory and remind you when you're going through that tough time who you are You know, what your values are, who you are, and what you're about, what's your sense of purpose. Because if we don't have these spiritual reminders, it might be so easy to fall into that rough time and just go down in a spiral. But if you have this quick reminder, come to mind, okay, this is, ground yourself, who I am and what I'm about. Another example from a traditional faith system, you know, like Christianity, a spiritual reminder may be WWJD, you know, what would Jesus do? That helps to remind them who I am and what I'm about, so I can focus in this chaos that I'm in right now. People that are really about family, you know, I've seen this one spiritual reminders, a tattoo on somebody's chest that says, for those I love, I will sacrifice. So your spiritual reminders is just something that keeps you cognizant of who you are and what you're about. So when that rough time comes, you can weather it. So overall, in a nutshell, guys, that's what spiritual resilience is. Hopefully you'll take a look at your own. So when that storm comes, you'll have one more tool to weather it. Again, everybody has spirituality, because spirituality, as the Air Force defines it, it's about your well-being, being cool with you, who you are, and figuring out what you're about, what your purpose is. You guys have a good one. Peace out. It's Hooksy. Love you guys. Bye.